People on the other side are using that as a fear tactic, and it's wrong. I think what's important to remember
But they
is
did
that
lose their insurance that they had. I mean, that's a fact.
that's why we have the Affordable Care Act.
I do not like this, Uncle Sam. I do not like his health care scam.
That's why we have the Affordable Care Act.
I do not like these dirty crooks or how they lie and cook the books.
It's more affordable than what they may have had before.
A new day, a new delay.
Look at what he wore Saturday during a tense 90-minute phone call with Vladimir Putin. No tie, jeans with a jean shirt. What is this, casual doomsday?
Freedom prospers when religion is vibrant and the rule of law under God is acknowledged.
An informed patriot is what we want.
Welcome to Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on Conservative Talk Radio. Muscular Christianity, where we relentlessly explore the intersection of truth and politics.
The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Now, here's your host, Brian Fisher.
Hi, and welcome back to this second hour of Focal Point on AFR Talk. This Monday edition. Brian Fisher is my name. Congenial, convivial, and amiable as always. Glad to have you on board the USS Focal Point as we continue to cruise the choppy waters of America's public life, looking for the intersection of truth and politics, the coordinates where truth intersects with politics. You heard the spot for the movie God's Not Dead. Want to urge you to think about going to see this. In fact, planning to go see this. It's going to open nationwide on March 21st, which will be, that is 11 days from now. It's going to open nationwide. This is a family-friendly film. You don't have to worry about taking the family to see it. It's going to be packed with truth. It's got a timely message. It that revolves around a college freshman who is forced to defend his faith in the challenges of an atheistic professor who challenges him to prove the existence of God. So that's March 21 is the opening date. So I encourage you to make plans to go ahead and see this thing, even buy some tickets early. Encourage people in your church family to go see this. We endorse this as an organization and encourage you to make plans to go see it. God is Not Dead opens March 21st. Taking calls over the first hour on dating and sexual intimacy prior to marriage. We played the soundbite from one of the Duggar girls, not going to hold hands till we get engaged, not going to kiss until we get married. Again, I'm not saying that's what everybody ought to do, but that's the path that they have chosen. And clearly, you know, the scriptures don't say anything about hand-holding or kissing. What it says is abstain from sexual immorality. Whatever you need to do to abstain from sexual immorality, then that's what you need to do. You might have different standards, different rules, different process, different safeguards that you put up to protect yourself. But whatever it is, I mean, for the Duggars, it's hand-holding until you're engaged and no kissing till you're married. That's fine. Great for them. Might work for a lot of people. But whatever it is, other people might not. But whatever it is, you need to find some way to protect your sexual purity. Then also talking about this girl who's suing her parents. She left home. Now she wants her parents to pay for everything, rest of her high school tuition. She wants to have a judge order her parents to pay for her college tuition, even though she voluntarily chose to leave home because she didn't like the rules. She didn't want to keep curfew, didn't want to do chores, didn't want to be respectful toward her parents, wanted to keep dating a guy that was a bad influence. So she checked out. She left, but she wants her parents to pay for everything. I suggested that's kind of a metaphor for where our whole nation is at. Anyway, number to call, 888-589-8840 is the number to call. A couple of other items you might want to respond to. There is a myth out there. It's repeated over and over again, and it's repeated so often that people just accept it as a fact. You'll hear pastors talk about the fact that the divorce rate in the church is the same as the divorce rate outside the church, that the divorce rate among Christians is no different than the divorce rate among non-Christians. So you hear that over and over and over again. Looking at a piece by Ed Stetzer in Christianity Today, indicating that, in fact, the research indicates that those who are active in their faith, and that's the key distinction, those who are active in their faith are actually much less likely to divorce than those that are not religiously observant, not involved in any kind of religious activity. So Catholic couples that are active in the Catholic faith are 31% less likely to divorce. Protestant couples who are active in their faith are 35% less likely to divorce. And Jewish couples, this is kind of amazing, really, Jewish couples are 97% less likely to divorce. So Brad Wilcox, Dr. Bradford Wilcox, he's the director of the National Marriage Project, and he says, look, it's important to understand that the study indicates that religiously unaffiliated Americans and counties with higher shares of unaffiliated Americans are the most likely to divorce. So secularism, if you're looking for a correlation between something and high rates of divorce, secularism is it. Those that have no religious affiliation at all, or counties have a high percentage of people who are religiously unaffiliated have higher divorce rates. But he says the problem, when you hear the statistics, divorce rate the same, here's the problem. The problem with that statistic is that it's mainly with nominal conservative Protestants. That is, Protestants who would identify as Protestants, but they hardly ever darken the doors of a church. You could have that with Southern Baptist in the South. I mean, people talk about how religious the South is, how many Baptist churches there are, how many Southern Baptist churches there are, and how high the divorce rate is. And his point is you can have Southern Baptists. I'm not knocking the Southern Baptists at all because it could happen to anybody. Saying you can call yourself a Southern Baptist, but if you never go to a Southern Baptist church, you never sit under the teaching of the Word of God, you're never involved in worship, you don't get involved in a Sunday school class or a small group or you can have fellowship, then it's not going to affect, it's not going to insulate you from divorce. In fact, he says people that are not active in their faith are actually 20% more likely to divorce. That's the odd thing. So Dr. Wilcox says, look, active conservative Protestants, that's his phrase, active conservative Protestants who attend church regularly, they are 35% less likely to divorce than those who have no religious preferences. So that is our Fisher factoid of the day. Remember this, learn it, live it, love it. When this topic comes up, say no. The truth is that if people are active conservative Protestants, they are in fact 35% less likely to divorce than those that have no religious affiliation. Roman Catholics are 31% if they're active in their faith, less likely to divorce. But people who simply call themselves Christians but do not actively engage with the faith are actually more likely than the general population to get divorced. That's kind of an odd thing. That if it's just in name only, if they've kind of got the faith that James talks about in James 2, a faith that doesn't produce any works whatsoever, you know, James says that kind of faith cannot save you. It cannot save you from God's wrath, and it cannot save you from divorce. In fact, you know what the research indicates? Those people are more divorce prone than people who have no religious affiliation whatsoever. It's like, I don't know what the analogy is. I have to come up with something off the top of my head, and it probably wouldn't be good. But in other words, what he's saying is that if you want a lasting marriage, the worst thing that you can be is a nominal Christian. The worst thing you can be is to be somebody who calls yourself a Christian, thinks of yourself as a Christian, but does nothing to nurture your Christian faith by attending worship with other believers, sitting under the teaching of the Word, getting involved in fellowship. That would actually make it more likely rather than less likely that your marriage will wind up on the rock. So again, the Fisher factoid of the day, active conservative Protestants who attend church regularly are 35% less likely to divorce than those who have no religious preferences. Learn it, live it, love it. All right, we'll take your calls on these topics and more. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Interested in your take on the girl who's suing her parents, didn't want to play by the rules. Now she's left home. Now she wants to sue her parents to pay for the rest of her tuition for private school and wants her parents to be ordered by this judge to pay her college tuition, even though she wants nothing to do with their rules or their environment. Focal Point, AFR Talk, 888-589-8840.